factors of delayed etringate formation, we can majorly club this into three categories. One is because of precast concrete production, what and all the curing regimes they follow in the factory. There are a few factors which can affect the DEF, and then the cement factors, and then the service conditions. So we will see through one by one. First, we will see precast concrete production, where we already know the curing temperature forms the basis for delayed etringate formation. Other than that, the pre-cure time is a very important factor, because by the time if the pre-cure time is longer, which means actually the concrete is in ambient condition for a longer time, which means etringate will form in the system, and then that have to be get decomposed by the high heat curing temperature. Whereas if the pre-cure temperature is less, so the chances are like concrete will get exposed to the high temperature at a very much early stage. So because of that, the early etringate formation may itself get inhibited. So there is no room for the etringate to get decomposed in the system. So which is more vulnerable than the etringate decomposition reaction and forming back reaction. So lesser the pre-cure time or the pre-steaming time, more will be the vulnerability to concrete. So we already discussed the elevated temperature stuff, and then the duration of elevated temperature curing, which is like this, the steaming period. Here, the example is about, I think it's 6 to 7 hours here. More than that, because more than that, exposing to a high temperature, it's actually the more chances of getting the decomposition of etringate in the system. And also, the higher temperature will keep remain the alkalis and the sulfates into the pore solution, not allowing the sulfates to contribute for the hydration products formation, say any other monosulfates or any other aluminopherates and etringate formation. So more the time the sulfates remain as free sulfates in the system, more the chances of delayed etringate formation in the long run. And then cement factors, as I already mentioned, etringate is actually calcium aluminosulfate hydrate, which is composed of calcium, sulfate, alumina, and lots of water. So anything anything related to alumina and the sulfur content is going to impact the quantity. The quantity basically depends on how much aluminates and sulfates will present in the cements. So we don't consider calcium, because calcium is always supersaturated in cementitious system. So basically the quantity of etringate precipitating in the system is actually depends on alumina and sulfates in the system. And it's also about appropriate quantities. It's not about higher sulfate contents means more etringate for precipitation. There should be an appropriate alumina content should be there for the sulfates to react with it. So the sulfates to alumina content should be around 0.8 to 1 in a molar ratio. That's the specimen content for delayed etringate formation to occur, to be deleterious. So one thing which is not in this formula is alkalis, but that can also be contributing to the delayed etringate formation. How means we saw earlier, the higher the alkalis in the cement, the more chance of decomposing or decomposition of etringate or dissolution of sulfates will get increased. So alkalis content are also very important. And then we saw 3 examples. All 3 examples are associated with moisture exposure as well. Why? To DEF to occur in the system, the alkalis have to, at least partially have to leach out from the system. Having direct contact with water or high humid conditions, which will favor the leaching of alkalis from the system. So that is a very important factor. But the good news is we need all the vital factors together to cause DF-related durability issues. Say concrete made with high sulfate, aluminate, alkali cement that needs to be steam cured at very high temperature for a longer time. And then the concrete will have to, serve in an environment where direct contact of water is there or high humid condition is there. So it is all three major factors have to come in place to increase the risk of DF. Otherwise, if we can eliminate one factor, we are actually reducing the risk of delayed retringate formation in concrete. So unfortunately, we cannot control the moisture conditions. Say, for example, we cannot say like in a coastal city, we can't use precast concrete itself, which is not a practical solution. So we basically don't have control for about the environment. So basically, all the control measures to control DAF is actually basically try to control the steam curing and the cement chemistry. So basically, you can see standards actually restrict curing temperature. Here in Australia, different states can have different curing specification, but more or less, if you can see, all the specifications actually restricts the curing temperature to 70 degrees Celsius. In some cases, say for example, Queensland, it also controls the core concrete temperature not to go beyond 75 degrees Celsius. So this is one way of trying to control a DF related issue. The another way is to use, put restrictions on the cement sulfate and the alkali content. So Australia, actually, the sulfate content should not exceed 3.5%, and the total alkali content should not go beyond 0.6%. Cement standards actually encourages the use of limestone as a mineral addition. Limestone substituted cements actually, in a long run, will produce other aluminoferrite phases which are non-expansive. Say, for example, monosulfate, monocarbonate in the systems. Those things are non-expansive compared to ettringite. So limestone addition is encouraged. The another way is use of supplementary cementitious system in cement concrete. So basically, like SCMs like fly ash can be replaced partially in cement concrete. So what will happen is first the sulfates and the aluminates in the system will get diluted because of partially we are substituting that with fly ash. That is one thing, but it's not only about the sulfate dilution. So here we can see example at the left where you can see this is one without fly ash, where we can see ettringite is getting precipitated along the aggregate and the cement base interface and causes some cracks. Whereas when we replace partially with fly ash, here we can see since even though it's heat cured, we couldn't be able to see this precipitation occurring in this system, and there are no major cracks in the system. So what actually contributes to this? Because fly ash have a lot of amorphous silica in it, which can actually react with calcium hydroxide, which is portlandite in the cementitious system, which is porous hydrate, which can convert that porous hydrates into more calcium silicate hydrate precipitation, which is a very denser hydrate, which can make the concrete relatively more denser. So what is the advantages? So the ettringite forming, to form the ettringite, to precipitate ettringite in the system, we need sulfates, aluminates to react with monosulfates to precipitate ettringite. So this sulfates and the aluminates, this movement through the microstructure is getting reduced, is restricted because fly ash substitute have concrete have more denser microstructure because of relatively higher calcium silicate hydrate precipitation in them. So this is also one way of controlling delayed ettringite formation. So to conclude, deleterious DEF occurs when cement, alkalis, sulfate, alumina are at their pessimism levels, and such concrete should be, steam cured at a very high elevated temperature. And during surveys of the concrete, there should be access to water directly or indirectly to promote leaching of alkalis from the system, so that etching will precipitate back in the hardened concrete to cause problems. So once it forms DF in the texture, sometimes it may weaken the microstructure by producing cracks and cause the concrete to be more permeable. So we can avoid, or we can reduce the impact of related ringette formation by putting restrictions on heat curing temperature, or restricting the sulfate alkali content in the cements, or we can use any SCMs, supplementary cementitious materials like fly ash to actually mitigate the related ringette formation. Thank you.